Hey guys, welcome back to Long Lad Plays. Hope you're having an amazing day. In today's video, we're going to be continuing on the Bounty Hunter series. Today's video is going to be on Embo. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Embo was a fictional character in Star Wars The Clone Wars. He was also a Kyozu male and grew up on the planet Pathron. Throughout the Clone Wars, Embo was considered one of the best bounty hunters in the galaxy and was just as skilled as Cad Bane. Embo was one of the most skilled and talented fighters in the galaxy. The abilities that Embo had were unreal. He was extremely acrobatic and could leap huge distances. He could also run faster than any human alive, which is insane. Embo's proficiency in unarmed combat made him equal to any Jedi or Sith when he was in a close distance of them. The arsenal that Embo had was a lot less than most bounty hunters, and he also didn't depend on technology and gadgets like Boba Fett or Cad Bane. Embo's main weapon was a customised bowcaster attached with a scope for longer ranges, and could also attach to the back of his chestplate when he was fighting in hand-to-hand combat. Like Cad Bane, Embo has an iconic hat, and personally I think it's better due to the uses it has. It can be used as a shield against blasters, and Embo uses it as a high-speed throwing disc, and he's also used it as a snowboard. During his job to assassinate Clovis, he was tracking them down a snow mountain, and he used it so he could keep up with them, and he also showed off his acrobatic skills in those scenes. Embo also wore a chestplate for protection, and had an ammunition bandolier slung over his shoulder a lot like Chewbacca, and he also had a style. He wore a long red fighting skirt decorated with gold symbols. A lot like Cad Bane, Embo had a sidekick. Embo had a male Anuba named Mark. He was always by Embo's side during jobs and day-to-day life. During the Clone Wars, Embo was a part of Suji's band of bounty hunters. They had been hired by Cassus Megassus, the leader of the farming village on the planet Felucia. They were hired to protect the villagers and their harvest of Nissalin from a gang of well-known pirates led by Hondo Ohnaka. While the bounty hunters were there, Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ahsoka Tano had crash-landed on Felucia and came across the village. They had a brief standoff, but they were stopped by Cassus and he begged them to work together and fight off the pirates. They got to work and Anakin began to train the villagers, which amused Embo due to their lack of experience in combat. During their preparation, Suji had spotted a spy who was sent by Hondo, but Embo was given the task to take care of the spy, which he did in a ruthless fashion. He had used his hat for protection from the pirate's blaster, then snapping the Weequay's neck with his bare hands. Soon after the spy had been killed by Embo, the pirates attacked the village. They came on multiple speeder bikes which Embo used to his advantage, acquiring one and killing several of the pirates. The mission was going to plan until Hondo arrived on a tank which shot and hit Embo, leaving him with a badly injured right arm. Suji helped him into the barn house while the others forced the pirates to retreat and flee the whole system. Later on in the Clone Wars, Embo was on Scenario, which was the same time Obi-Wan was undercover as Rako Hardeen. While on Scenario, Embo was one of the bounty hunters to survive the box, which was invented by Moralo Ival, and was hired by Count Dooku to kidnap Palpatine. While on the mission, the crew had used holographic disguises to become Senate commandos. The plan was going well with Embo rushing the Chancellor away, but failed to escape and was arrested by Skywalker and Mace Windu. Embo didn't remain in Republic custody for long, as he was then employed by the Grand Hutt Council as a bodyguard alongside Suji, Dengar and Latrazi. While on the job, they had to face Darth Maul and Savage Opress. The three bounty hunters put up a great fight, pushing the two brothers back up until Death Watch had intervened. Embo went 1v1 with Savage and managed to survive due to the strength of his hat. When they realised that they could not win, Embo and the other bounty hunters retreated, abandoning their new employers. A while after this, Embo was looking for more jobs. One of the jobs that he had been hired for was on the planet Scopio, which was the home planet of Rush Clovis, whom he had been hired to drive off the intergalactic banking clan Vault World. When Clovis arrived alongside Padme and Anakin, Embo had taken several shots at Clovis, but Anakin had deflected each shot. They then boarded a small ship which Embo had taken down using his bowcaster, forcing them to slide down the snowy mountain. As I mentioned before, Embo used his hat as a snowboard. In those scenes we see how well balanced Embo really is, and he's still being able to steady himself to shoot his target while flying down a snowy mountain. Unfortunately for Embo, Anakin gets the better of him and R2-D2 saves them and takes them away in their ship. But his mission was completed in the eyes of Darth Sidious, who was his employer for the job, and he says to Embo that he will deal with them from here. In the later months of the war, Embo took many jobs with Boba Fett's team of bounty hunters called Krait's Claw. One of the jobs they were hired for was to retrieve Quinlan Voss, who was the lover of Assad's Ventress. He was held up on the planet Scenario, which was the home planet of Count Dooku. Embo and his Anuba Marek travelled there and rendezvoused at the planet Spaceport. The mission came out to be a failure, but Embo and the rest of Fett's bounty hunters escaped a direct encounter with the Sith Lord Count Dooku. A cool area where Embo showed up again was on the walls of the Ghost. He had been graffitied on by Sabine Wren, who was quite fond of bounty hunters, as Cad Bane can also be seen on the walls of Hera Syndulla's ship. After the destruction of the second Death Star, Embo attempted to claim the bounty for Lando Calrissian. Embo had snuck aboard Lando's ship, but the clever Calrissian had anticipated Embo's presence and had stopped him. During 5ABY, Embo, along with Dengar and a Rhodian named Jita, were hired by Mercurial Swift to capture Jasamari, who was actually the niece of Embo's former partner Suji during the Clone Wars. A crime boss named Gaiuti had put a bounty on Amari, and Embo only took the job to clear up his debts from the previous years. After the team learned that Jas had been captured on Jakku, they quickly sped off to the planet. Swift, who was the one who hired the bounty hunters for the job, attempted to take the bounty all for himself, but Amari had overpowered him and escaped. Jas headed back to the hangar only to find Embo and Dengar waiting for her. They began to speak and Embo mentioned the death of Marek that happened years ago. While talking, Jas had tried to persuade Embo to let her go by saying he worked with her aunt years ago during the Clone Wars, and that Marek liked her. Embo let her take the ship, but Dengar tried to stop her, but he too was also overpowered by Amari. After this, Jasamari and the New Republic operative, Nora Wexley, returned to where Jas had been captured. While there, Embo and the rest of Swift's crew cornered Jas and Nora. Nora managed to escape with her son's droid Mr. Bones aboard the shuttle. Jas stayed behind in order to allow Nora to proceed with her mission to capture Grand Admiral Race alone. After Amari's capture, Swift tried to travel to Nar Shaddaa to deliver Jas to the boss Gaiuti, but they were unable to leave due to the Battle of Jakku. During the time there, Jas managed to convince Embo, Dengar and Jita to turn forces against Swift. Jas had offered them to secure their pardons from the New Republic. Swift tried to fight back but was thrown from the shuttle by Jas and Dengar. Embo, Dengar and Jita were now a part of Jas's crew. They had taken Swift's shuttle to the Jakku Observatory where they met with Nora, who had joined forces with Salone and her husband Breton Lore Wexley, to prevent Gallius Rax from destroying Jakku as part of the late Emperor's contingency plan. After the Battle of Jakku and the Galactic Coordinates, Embo and the rest of Amari's crew received full pardons from the New Republic. They also received enough money from the New Republic and continued to work with Amari as her crew. Sometime later, Embo's funding from the New Republic had ran dry. He was then forced to return back to Felucia and began working as a farmer. While there, he was confronted by Bazin Natal, who wanted information on the Millennium Falcon. Embo told Natal about his failed experience with capturing the Millennium Falcon after the Battle of Endor. After his story, Natal paid Embo with credits and began her leave, but Embo made sure to point her in the right direction of her next potential contact. So guys, that's going to be all for this video. I hope you did enjoy. Personally, I really enjoyed making this video because it was really fun learning about Embo's life and how he redeemed himself years on. I hope you did enjoy. Make sure you like, subscribe and comment anything else you want to see on my channel. Make sure you stay safe, stay well, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.